Happy Tuesday, everyone, and welcome back to the 12th Horseshoe podcast here on Search Sports TV and the 12th Horseshoe podcast YouTube channel, presented by Prova, an Italian eatery of Moonachie, New Jersey. Alongside my partner, Eli Weintraub, Jack Rizzo with you today. Thank you for joining us. Well, spring is around the corner. It was certainly a much warmer day here in the Northeast, Eli. It hit 50 degrees today for the first time in quite a long time, so spring is almost here. How are you feeling today, Eli?
It better stay like this when baseball starts next year. Not next year, next month, because it was such a beautiful day today that I need that weather for when we do the broadcast outdoors. I need that weather like today. I don't need this cold weather just for when baseball starts. I don't care if it comes back now, but not for baseball when it starts. But I'm doing great though.
I am glad you're doing good, Eli. So it's been just over 2 weeks now since the Super Bowl was played. This is usually a pretty quiet time in the offseason, but thought we'd hop on here just to talk about a couple of things. We'll start off with our season recap of our predictions and everything. So we briefly talked about it on our last show. We'll go more in depth to it today. So for the 2023-2024 season, there were 285 total games. I went 187 and 98 for the games picked this year. There were no ties in the NFL this year for the second straight year.
Incredible.
And Eli went 175 and 110. So we both improved. We both improved from the year
last
before.
year. We both improved.
Yeah, the year before we were both 169 and 113. I'm certainly happy that I was able to get to under 100 losses. These games are not easy to pick, so I feel really happy about that. How about you, Eli?
I am disappointed that I did not have a better record.
Oh.
I think I just choose silly games, silly game choices, silly losses. Something you can't predict every game in the NFL. It's very tough, especially the later games, not so much the early ones, the later on games. But I'm proud that at least only got 110 losses. Guess that's a start.
It's better than last year.
Better than last year. You know what? I'll take it.
All right. Well, what you did do great, though, Eli, was your lock of the week. So I went 13 and 7, but you went 18 and 2 with your lock of the week. So very well done.
Good choices
on that part. The only two you got wrong. You got the 49ers wrong over your Seahawks.
Yeah, I couldn't. Yeah,
over your Seahawks,
Max.
And then I'm trying to find the other one you got wrong. Give me 1 second.
Might have been the Giants. No,
I would hope you wouldn't have picked the Giants in the lock, Eli. I would be very beside myself if you did.
Might have been week 18.
I can't.
Week 18. I think I got right.
You got week 18. Here, I'm gonna find it. Just give me 1 second.
Okay.
All right, scrolling. Not that one. Not that one. Yeah, you got week 11 wrong. But I don't see what else you got wrong. Let's see. Week 10. No. Week 9. Week 8.
Got something wrong.
Yeah, you did.
Week 1 maybe.
No. Week 1 you got right. Maybe it was one of the.
I'll have to look.
I don't know. I can't find it. But either way, you went 18.
Why don't you move on to the next one and I'll look for it.
Yes. Upset. Okay, this is really tough. We both did not do very well, but I won that. I went 7 and 12, and Eli went 5 and 14. It's not easy to pick upsets. And then Survivor Advantage. You can't pick two teams in the same week. We both went 13 and 5 on that, so we both did very well there.
Yes, we did. I still can't find it.
Oh, found it. Week 2, you picked the Cowboys over the Saints as your lock.
Yeah, well,
yeah, 44-19. That was the score. Not exactly a very good lock, but it's okay.
Yeah, no, but again, this was the Dallas Cowboys. We thought they were going to be good, that they usually are, and then just start trailing as the postseason comes around. But no.
I will say, though, with the Colts,
I
went, so in terms of Colts games that were played, I went 10 and 7 on those games. I always have to see how my Colts do. Comment from Jason Lee, don't trust Dallas. Word of advice from the Cowboys fan. Yeah, that certainly is a word of advice. Basically every game I picked them wrong. They threw me off when they beat Washington and then they beat Tampa Bay. And it's like, why do they keep throwing me off? They beat Carolina, like when we thought Carolina was gaining momentum. They're so weird, Eli. I don't know what to think of the Dallas Cowboys. I really don't. All right. Well, let's get to some other news surrounding the NFL, Eli. That's it for our season recap. It was a pleasure to do the picks again.
Who won? We tied Survivor.
I did say that.
Oh, you did. Okay.
35. All right. Well, Next up, let's talk about some other news. So, first piece of news, Eli, for next season, the international game slate has been finalized. And there are not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, but 7. Magic 7 international games this year. That is by far the most in a season in NFL history. So we'll go through right now.
Okay.
The Los Angeles Chargers will be playing the second annual game in Brazil, Sao Paulo specifically. And that will be in week 1 on Friday night, just like it was last year. And hey, the team that won the Brazil game in week 1 last year ended up winning the Super Bowl. So maybe that's good luck for the Chargers. But probably not, though. They'll probably find a way to screw it up again in the playoffs, if they even get there. We have 3 games in London. I have teams that are hosting games in London this year: the Jets, the Browns, and the Jaguars. Okay, I am terribly sorry about that.
All I know is, I just want to say this: there's too many international games.
Way too many.
Either they have to make every single team play an international game and no duplicates, or they start cutting it down, like 1 per city. Like Los Angeles, Brazil gets the game. London gets 1 game, not 3, not 2, just 1 game every city. Well, if that's what they're gonna do, not go 5 times in London, then all right, let's go another 2 times in Germany.
We also have the first ever game in Berlin, hosted by yours truly, the Indianapolis Colts. Germany, I'm also very sorry about that. We have the first game ever to be played in Spain, in the capital Madrid. That'll be hosted by the Miami Dolphins. I'm sorry about that, Spain, as well. And then we have the first game to ever be played in Dublin, Ireland, hosted, that's pretty cool, by the Pittsburgh Steelers. Again, Ireland, I am so sorry. The teams that are hosting the international games this year are horrible.
No, not great.
Except for maybe the Chargers. That's not even that great either.
No. Bottom line is, though, they either got to send every team international or they really got to cut it down. We don't need 3 London games. We don't need 2 London games. We need to cut it down to 1 per city, maybe every other week, something like that. I mean, it's horrible just to think about us on the East Coast. We have to watch the game at 9:30. If you're not up at 9:30 in the morning to watch the game, think about those people on the West Coast, 6 o'clock in the morning. I get it. They get Sunday Night Football, but still.
Absolutely. Well, let's talk about the news, Eli, of the last couple of weeks. Aaron Rodgers will not be a New York Jet in 2025.
Yep. Great choice.
Yeah, exactly. 100% agree. They have officially now announced that they will not be moving on, whether it's by trade or whether by signing. I don't think anyone's going to trade for him, but fortunately, the Aaron Rodgers experiment is over, and I'm sure much to the joy of the New York Jets fans.
Yeah, I mean, it was a rough ride for this Jets group, and I'm glad that it's now over and we'll not see Aaron Rodgers next year. But the question is, will the Jets be better, worse, or the same old Jets? That's the big question that's going to be on everybody's mind. Kind of in the middle right now. I don't think they're going to be better. I don't think that they're going to be as worse as last year, but I think they're going to be right in the middle.
All right, we have other news to talk about. Free agency is coming up, and the NFL announced that the salary cap will be raised between $22 million and $26 million this offseason. I like it, though. I like raising the salary cap, though. I think, again, contracts are obviously getting bigger nowadays, and teams need to have more room to sign players.
I get it, more room to sign players, no problem, but really, this is just getting out of hand, the money that we're giving out. I mean, I get they play 1 game a week. They practice like maybe.
Yeah, but I mean, obviously
the physicality. I get it.
The physicality.
The physicality is different, absolutely no question. But
to be fair, though, I think that's just
that's a ton of money.
Hockey players play 82 games a year of tremendous physicality. They do not get paid very much. Like,
right. That's my point, though. Like, if you look at the hockey side of things, they're on skates, skating on skates, getting banged up in the boards, getting hit by pucks, losing teeth, and their salary is nothing compared to what the NFL players are making. And look at the physicality there. Look at the equipment differences between the NFL and the NHL as an example. I just think it's extreme to just keep on going higher and higher. And what does that mean? It's going to somehow affect the consumer that watches it, us, the fans. Whether that it means more streaming services, more channels that we have to now pay for. Again, look at Netflix. They now add Netflix to the packages that we have to now pay for as well, on top of ESPN Plus.
Well, did you see the news that
No.
Netflix is looking to buy a package for Sunday afternoon. They're
Yes,
looking to
I
take.
read for CBS and
They're
Fox.
looking to potentially take over. Now, it wouldn't be for several more years, but the NFL could opt out of the deal with CBS in 2029. Obviously,
Absolutely.
I'm sure CBS and Fox will really throw a lot of money out to try to keep
Absolutely.
it. They're not
Because
going to
that
want
is
to lose it.
that's what saves their networks. I mean, CBS, they have the March Madness, which brings up good viewership, but it's only March and April. The NFL really was the king.
Remember though, CBS also has golf though, and that brings in a ton of money.
Not as much as the NFL.
Well, no, they do actually bring. Well, because it's all year though. Like they have tournaments every weekend, and that really brings in a lot of money.
Right, but not as much as the NFL does within that short span, though. We got to keep in mind about that.
Yep. But I will say that I don't expect Netflix to actually take over because I think this is more of like a bargaining tactic by the NFL to maybe get CBS and Fox to pay more.
Yeah, but we saw that with ESPN and the MLB, and what happened? ESPN ended up leaving MLB.
Well, to be fair though, Eli, ESPN does not take MLB as seriously as CBS does the NFL.
That is true.
If you watch ESPN's coverage, it's literally only about LeBron James and the NFL. It's literally about nothing else.
That is no question.
I can't believe ESPN has hockey rights. They don't do pregame shows before their hockey games.
With Four Nations, they did a really good job with.
They did. The
Four Nations, you got to give credit. They did a ton of work. Whenever there's games on ABC, there's always a pregame show. There's the point that airs after before a big game, which is their pregame show style.
Yeah, but do you ever see them talk about NHL on SportsCenter though, or with Stephen A.
Very
Smith?
rare. Very rare.
Exactly.
Stephen A. Smith never. Because
and baseball, they never talked about baseball either.
Well, yes, so. And I think that's how ESPN changed and lost their rights with the MLB.
Yeah,
because it turned down. It looked. They basically what it was originally. It was the greatest thing that ever happened to ESPN. They had Sunday Night Baseball. They had everything you could possibly imagine. But if you look on paper now, they barely want to talk about it on the networks. When it comes down to the wild card, they show it twice on like a Get Up program. That's about it. They don't even announce it on First Take. They don't talk about SportsCenter. Nothing. They move other programmers around just so the other programs can air and talk about the main sports, not baseball. So I could see why MLB is leaving in that sense. But
I believe ESPN's the only major network that has access to all four major sports in North America.
Yes.
Yeah. Fox doesn't do hockey.
Fox doesn't hockey, in order to CBS and NBC lost the rights.
Exactly. Oh, I miss the NHL on NBC. Those were good times.
I mean, it was a good time, but honestly, it was the right choice because now everything's on Peacock.
No, I just missed the theme song. I missed the theme song.
Yeah, I agree with that. But
like I said, but to be fair though,
Peacock has ruined NBC Sports.
To be fair though, most of the announcers from NBC went to TNT, so we still have a lot of the same announcers doing all the games. And Doug Emmerich was going to retire anyways. So
regardless if they moved or stayed. Yeah, I think Peacock just ruined NBC Sports a lot too, because now you have more games there to the network. Yeah, it helped in some matters and stuff, but it also hurt. You're losing what could have been crucial viewership on your main NBC platform or on the NBC Sports channel that they used to have.
Yeah, but I'm so happy. Good riddance to baseball going off ESPN. I'm so happy that they're doing that because they can go.
Now the question is, does the WNBA take over the time slot for Sunday? Because that's usually what also happens during the summertime as well. They're getting boosts with the viewership. It's possible.
Yeah, well, I will say, though, that it is pretty cool because opening day this year between the Yankees and the Brewers, Joe Buck is calling the baseball game for ESPN, and that's the first baseball game he's called since he was with Fox. He has not called a baseball game for ESPN.
He did with the Bally Sports. I forgot what team it was, but he did that last year.
Probably the Cardinals, because because he was the Cardinals TV announcer for a while before he was big at Fox. Because obviously his father Jack Buck was a longtime voice of the St. Louis Cardinals. All right, well let's get back to NFL news. We've had some other big news. As we mentioned with the salary cap and free agency, it was increased this year. The Dolphins released a couple of players. They released Raheem Mostert, who had 20 touchdowns a couple of years ago. That'll be a nice signing for anyone looking for him. They also released corner Kendall Fuller. I will say though, Eli, this free agent class is not very strong, particularly. No. It's pretty weak class. It's strong.
It's not what it was last year.
Yeah, the secondary, really the only place where there are strong players is the secondary and maybe running backs, and that's it.
Yeah, that's about it.
Justin Tucker has a lot of problems. We'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, we'll leave it at
that. Okay. We also have the Panthers re-signed Andy Dalton to a 2-year deal. He'll back up Bryce Young again. A couple more releases. The Chargers are going to host the game in Sao Paulo, Brazil. The Eagles hired Kevin Patullo as their new offensive coordinator, replaced Kellen Moore, who departed for the Saints head coaching job. The Patriots have the most salary cap, $126 million in cap space the Patriots have. They're going to be big spenders. Yeah, I can see them going after T. Higgins and after all
A
these
ton of
big
guys.
names, all these big time names. Oh, All-Pro guard Zach Martin officially announced his retirement from the NFL. A 9-time All-Pro board, 11 seasons. He had more All-Pro selections than he did holding penalties in his career. Just think about that for a second. 7 holding penalties in his career over 11 seasons. First ballot Hall of Famer. There's no question. First ballot Hall of Famer. One of the greatest offensive linemen that's ever played this game.
Absolutely.
We also had news today that the Bills extended their star receiver Khalil Shakir to a 4-year, $60 million contract. That's an excellent deal for one of the more underrated receivers in the game. And considering what some of these other receivers make, I think that's a steal that Buffalo got. Really good receiver.
Absolutely.
That they locked up for 4 more years. Keanu Neal retired, former safety of the Falcons. Shaq Thompson, the longtime linebacker of the Carolina Panthers, was released. Matthew Stafford was given permission by the Rams to seek a trade, Eli. Where
I
could
don't
you
like
see
that
this
at all.
going? Do you think they trade him or no?
I think he's going to resign. I don't know. I think he's a Ram. Why would you want to leave that? Where would you go? Maybe Seattle? But I mean, really.
Well, because he has 1 year left on his contract, so they can't agree.
You could explore options, but I think he's going to be a Ram. He won a Super Bowl with them. Just stay.
I agree. I think and they have the opportunity to win another one. They're a good team.
Absolutely, they are.
I know you're losing Cooper Kupp, but like you could replace him now. He's kind of old. Jonathan Allen of the Reds, or I almost said the Redskins of the Commanders.
You did say the Reds though.
Yeah. Well, Jim Nance says Redskins a lot when doing the CBS games, but
all right.
But Jonathan Allen requested a trade from the Commanders, or didn't request a trade. They granted him permission to seek a trade. Makes sense. He's kind of aging, and Washington has some good young depth on that defensive line. The Falcons are keeping Kirk Cousins and not releasing him. Right. I don't know why they would ever do that.
No, I don't know either.
And we have some other players who are not sure if they're going to retire or not. Jason Peters retired today, former lineman. He's also a future first ballot Hall of Famer, 9-time Pro Bowler, 6-time All-Pro, one of the greatest left tackles of all time. And yeah, Eli, that's basically it. The Eagles. Yeah. There's a lot of talk about whether the Eagles were going to be invited to the White House or not. Well, they are invited to the White House. That's usually how it goes with every.
Yeah, I don't get into the politics stuff. I mean, if they go, they go. They don't go, they don't go. It really don't make a difference on how it impacts the game.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's basically all the news we have, Eli. Free agency opens up on March 10th. So,
the combine starts.
The combine is this weekend. Yes, out in Indianapolis. Hey, Eli Jack. Hi, Sarah. This is one of my friends, Sarah. She's a good, big Colts fan, big Iowa Hawkeyes fan, big St. Louis Cardinals fan. So appreciate you as always, Sarah. Yeah. So the combine March this Thursday to Sunday out in Indianapolis, where it is every year. I hope it never leaves Indianapolis. It's great for the city that they're able to host it. And that's basically it, Eli. So unless you have any more thoughts, we're going to wrap it up.
I got nothing else. Stay tuned for more content on the way.
Absolutely. Well, we will see you all in a couple of weeks for our next show. Enjoy the rest of your week. Jack Rizzo, Elijah Weintraub signing off. You've been
go
watching
Seahawks, go Devils
podcast. Go Colts and go.